You know, when you meet someone and you very quickly realize you pretty much share a brain, you're always on the same page and essentially speak the same language, maybe just in a different font?
I'm Stephanie, and that was Holly, and we are those girlies. After sharing an experience in corporate America, and maybe some trauma bonding along the way, we really just want to yammer about the stuff that matters to us. Join us as we discuss navigating self-love and growth, marriage, sobriety, and the hamster wheels that are our brains. And welcome to Same Language, Different Font.
We're here.
We're here.
Episode 1 day.
Day 1. Holy cow, we're doing this. Same language, different font.
How long have we been planning this?
It's been a while. I feel like it started as an idea like 2 years ago, and now it's just slowly. I think we've been slowly like chipmunking content, and not even realizing that we were chipmunking content, and just on this journey that we've been on. It's just really crazy. It's exciting.
Yeah. I think because you came up with same language, different font. You came up with that inside joke, and I think you put it on my birthday card.
Yeah, it's
2 years ago? It's just fun from there.
It really has, and it comes up now every single time that you and I we have a moment
share
where
the brain cell.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm pretty sure I wrote down in my notes a lot of I was just about to say that. That's like our tagline whenever we're coming into a conversation with each other or having a conversation with each other where we're really like seeing eye to eye on things, or
right, or leading a team, because that's how we met. Really, was we led a team together, and just what she said. Just follow what she said. Whoever gets to it first. Yep, just right on it.
It's just really funny because we are two very different people. I think obviously we've established that in our friendship, as it has grown, two very different backgrounds, two very different stories. But I think that our starting off as leaders together, it's always awkward in like that coworker relationship. Like, are we friends? Are we not friends? Like, can we be friends? I don't really know. But I think it just kind of developed from there, when it's a true testament of how different people can be, but how incredibly similar we can be as well. And I think that our biggest commonality is like our moral compass is like the same.
Yes.
We want the best for all of our people and for ourselves. And I think that that's kind of what's really inspired SLDF is, and I'm sorry, listeners, that is same language, different font. We break it down into
if you haven't figured it out yet.
We break it down. But it's just, how different we can be. But, we're working on self-growth, and coming back to being the best that we can for our people. And I think that that's kind of, a key theme here on Same Language, Different Font, is about all the different ways we can be similar and different at the same time.
If you can't tell, we're both 2s on the Enneagram scale. If you don't know what that is, I encourage you to look that up, because I love the Enneagrams, even though I feel attacked by them sometimes because they're so right. But you keep saying, be the best for our people, but I think we're also shifting gears. We want to be the best for ourselves. We want to be that best version of ourselves, and figuring out how we can do that while balancing. The 2 is considered the helper, and we are people pleasers. So balancing their needs with what we need to continue to grow each day is I think the biggest mind shift for us. And I'm excited because we're going to have some people on the pod that are different Enneagrams. They still have that same moral compass, but they just view things so differently, and their perspectives and experiences on how they got where they are, because they're also still going through this self-growth and growth mindset. And I'm excited to have their perspectives on the pod too.
No, most definitely. And I mean, I think the different perspectives that we'll get from our guest coming in, and I think that you and I have also been searching and looking and researching on all of just the many different things that we can be doing along the way to just wake up and be better, the next day, to help clear that brain fog that comes in your late 20s, early 30s, where you're really starting to like, oh, this is life. Like life really be life in like,
Yeah.
um,
It's throwing jabs
no,
sometimes.
and like how do we stay happy through that? How do we stay healthy through
Right.
that? And I think that we're not professionals. Can we just go ahead and just say right out of the gate, in no way, no shape or
Nope.
form are we professionals. We are just two girls, like I said, that have very different life experiences who just want to be better. I think I wrote in my notes that if this is something that seems familiar to you and it's something that maybe you've got people in your life that it's like, yeah, but I feel like sometimes we can't always relate to the same thing or something along those
Right.
lines. There are so many different ways that we can connect with people. And I think that that's our main goal here, is that Holly and I, we really started just talking this out just amongst us, where it was literally just her and I talking to each other about things and not sharing it with anybody else because of the stigmas attached to things. And we'll talk about all of that. But I think what it really comes down to is, don't hold it in. When you feel like you have something of value to offer, something of value to speak about, keeping that to your chest is it's completely fine. Let me say that, because I definitely don't want anybody listening to feel like you got to go out there and just start trying to help everybody
Everybody.
grow. Everybody get on board right now.
Even though that's what we're doing right now.
Right. But if that sounds like something interesting to you, that's why we want you guys here. That's why we are doing this in the first place, just to try and share some tips and tricks, things that are working, because that is the thing. And I think that's why we're finally here, sitting in front of cameras with microphones in front of us, is because we are showing and proving every day to ourselves, to our families, that it does work, that the hard work works. When you just really kind of put your head down and kind of start to develop that discipline. Discipline is such a funny word, because at least for me, growing up, it was I didn't say a yes ma'am or a no ma'am, and now we've got some timeout time discipline. This is not that type of discipline that I'm talking about. Holly and I want you to be the least hard on yourself. Please give yourself grace. Her and I are all about it, but developing that mental discipline, like, yeah, the hard days are going to be hard, but the good days are going to be great. Let's celebrate them, and all of the different ways that we're trying to do that every day.
Every time that I think about all of these things, I really just come back to this phrase of, it's just finding joy in the mundane,
Yeah.
because it's not always going to be glamorous, big life events. It's going to be the same pretty much every day
Yep.
for the majority of it,
Pretty
but
much.
it's finding the joy and the blessings in it. And that is where that mind shift really just springs so much gratitude. And I think if you surround yourself with it, whether it be with podcasts or your community, it just, the growth that you find there is invaluable. Like, it's just life changing, which sounds super dramatic, but it really is. Like, when we started thinking about this 2 years ago and starting to really shift our day to days and our habits and focusing on building healthy habits, and not realizing how many negative ones that we had, just because we just went with the flow. We went with what society was saying. We didn't really think about the repercussions of what we were doing every day with our small actions. And
That part. Sorry.
when
That
we
part.
right?
Yes.
It's finding the intention behind just the little things that you do every day and making those non-negotiables, which you rock at, and just really sticking to them. But also, I think it's important, because we're not going to be like self-growth every day. We have to do this. It's recognizing the days of rest as
Yes,
well, and when you
absolutely.
need to have a second to recharge. And I had one yesterday. I literally had, I think I called it a day of mediocrity, of just, I'm finding my victories are still big, but they're not, like, if you compare them to the previous days, yeah, they look small. But for me today, these are my big wins. So I think recognizing when you have it in you to hustle and grind, and when you don't, and you just want to be present, and you still focus on your blessings, absolutely, but it's not just, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to continue to grow and do all of these little things to get better. you won't find
Absolutely.
any value in that.
No, not at all. And on the flip side of that, there are some days that where I have been down, and my accountability partner in Holly, somebody who knows you, somebody who is familiar with your routines and your tone and your response rate, to things. It's important, to find a person, your person. And it doesn't have to be, an actual person. There was plenty of times where I did have to turn to a book or to a completely different, a stranger's perspective. And that's what this is. Same language, different font. You have no idea who we are. We're human. And to anybody out there listening, this is not a place where you're going to find the influencer mindset. We are going to be real. We are not perfect people, but if we can be those strangers for somebody out there who is on the fence, is this a day of mediocrity, or is this something where I've had a couple of days of those and now it's time to flip the mindset a bit? If we can be that resource for people, that's our main goal here.
Absolutely. And again, we're sharing the brain cell because I literally have in my notes, like, I feel like there are two different types of podcasts and social media platforms where, and this, I got this idea too from the book that I just finished reading, You Can't Have It All by Stassi Schroeder. And I will absolutely reference Stassi Schroeder in episode 1 because I love her. But anyways, there are two types of algorithms, I feel like, when you pull up your Instagram or your TikTok, and it's this is a huge life event or glamorous vacation, and it makes it seem like it's their everyday life.
Yep.
I can almost promise you that is not their everyday life.
Nope.
However, it is nice to see the dreams and to, this is what I want one day, but it's not realistic. And then you see the ones that are in the nitty-gritty, day to day. They show the reality behind what they're doing, how they're hustling, how they're trying to be better people. At least on my social media, you have those two different types. And as much as, I do have so many blessings in my life, I'm not on a boat with my friends with endless PTO all the time. Like, that is just not how I live. So this is going to be the nitty gritty. We're talking about the things that matter, the things that majority of people can relate to. And I'm hoping that whoever listens, it could be the 5 people that combined are friends of ours. Because let's be real, being a mom, whether it be of children or of animals, you don't got a lot of time to put into those friendships.
You
so
do not.
Combined, we might have 5. But just imagine those 5 people find positivity and find something inspirational or productive from this, and they share it with their 5 people.
Yep.
And then they go and share it with their 5 people.
That's right.
How freaking cool could that be?
Incredible to think that someday somebody could, and I'm not going to get emotional in episode 1. I will not. You all will see me cry. I am the crier of this friendship, okay? I cry over happy, sad, mad, all of the things. And it is not a fatal flaw, as I used to think that it was. Anyways, but to think that someday somebody could comment to us that something that we said really helped them change their day to day. Something that we said helped them come out of a spot where, it was darkness more than light, and I think that I got goosebumps. It's coming. Choke it down. It's just, I've been there, I've been there. I've done it. I felt it. I'm only 33 years old. So no, I am not some magical wizard like some 60, 70, 80-year-olds out there who I've spoken with who genuinely got that life experience to speak on it. But I guess we can just go ahead and get into who we are. Holly mentioned it. I'm a mom of 5 kids. I'm a wife. I am a daughter and a friend who has been through highs, who has been through lows. I work full time. My husband and I are on a journey of starting our own small business. And for any of our business owners out there or somebody thinking about it, it is possible, but it is difficult. Okay. I will always preach that positivity first, but also then that reality right behind it, because it is
They're crushing it though. Don't let her fool you.
Thank you for that. I'm just a regular person who has always loved people, but I love the human mind and how it works. And more so connecting with people and hearing people's stories, because we all have such interesting testimonies. You just never know what one small little thing that somebody has to offer can really change your perspective on things. I have a tattoo on my rib cage from my 10th grade AP Lang teacher, Mr. Binns. And as I get older, I am learning more and more. The quote is, "There is freedom in vulnerability." And there is something about being vulnerable, being honest with yourself, and being vulnerable with yourself to have the hard talks. Sometimes you got to get in your noggin and tell your noggin, quit noggining in, you know? You guys know what I mean. You do. You definitely know what I'm talking about.
If you've made it this far into this, I'm sure you're somebody who understands what that means.
Thank you. Yes, 100%.
And if not, you will learn.
Absolutely. But yeah, there's nothing like Holly said, would I love to be out there on a yacht somewhere? Maybe someday. I have no idea what is in the cards for me and my family. But what I do know is that this morning my husband went to Walmart to pick up a birthday present for my daughter, my 5-year-old daughter's best friend's birthday party. I had to hide 3 dogs away in their kennels to keep them quiet while I have this nice conversation with my best friend. Everybody in my house is on standby that mom's working. Like, it's just real. And that's all we want our listeners to know, is that this is a real space. It's a safe space. It's going to be a fun space once all of our nerves and learning how to do this, because who the heck picks up a microphone off Amazon 2 weeks ago and then is all recording content 2 weeks later?
Here we are.
It's us. Who are you, Holly? Tell our listeners who you are.
First off, I need to piggyback on this. Everybody, so that they know, Stephanie is considered the mouth of the South. I need everyone to know this. And also, she's probably one of the biggest Taylor Swift lovers that I have ever, not even that I've ever met, because when I met her, she wanted nothing to do with Taylor Swift.
I wasn't.
But we have flipped gears. I've turned her into a Taylor Swift lover, even bigger than myself. And I think that just really buttons up who is Stephanie.
Yeah, I think so.
But no, as Stephanie said, I am Holly. I still consider myself a new wife. I'm still figuring out what I'm doing. I probably will still consider myself a new wife when I'm 10 years into marriage, because I will still be trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing and how to do it better. But I'm a new wife, dog and cat mom of 4. We consider them the farm, and thankfully Em is watching them right now, making sure that they stay as quiet as possible, because it's an early Saturday morning full of all of the energy. So bless him. I am an aunt. Love that hat that I wear. That's one of my favorite hats, is being an aunt. And really what I'm gonna be sharing on this is, I started this growth mindset journey when COVID hit, actually. And I think there were so many bad things that happened from COVID, but focusing on this really sparked a fire of, who am I? Why am I here? How can I continue to improve every day? By changing the smallest habits has made such a giant impact. Mm-hmm. And so, like Stephanie said, we are not experts by any means. Mm-hmm. We're just people who have tried a few different things, figured what works and what doesn't, and we want to share that. And this is going to be a 2-way street. We want to hear from what you guys have tried that have worked or haven't worked, and we will then try as well and share on, once we have social media, we will absolutely be sharing how these go every day and sharing with you guys on the pod of how these habits have changed our lives, the good, the bad, what we did differently. We definitely want this to be a community and not just a one-way street by any means.
Absolutely.
So please share your ideas. And my biggest intention is to not say anything that my mother-in-law, Mama J, would not want to hear. So that is going to be the biggest. I have it written down. Don't say anything Mama J wouldn't want to know.
This will be a podcast you moms out there can listen to in the car, on the way to school, on the way home from school, on the way to that practice, on the way to the grocery store for the 9 millionth time with the kiddos in the back seat. Holly and I have worked on being very intentional in just how we communicate about all of this. There is a lot of hee ha ha, as I like to call it, out there in the world. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. I am a consumer of that type of content. I will not sit here and lie and say that I am not. But like Holly said, she's an auntie to a beautiful plethora of nieces and nephews, and I've got
So
a
many.
whole horde of little ears and little sponges out there. So yeah, this will be a safe space in many ways, but listener friendly to all age ranges.
Forgot to mention this of the two-way street is share what you agree with and what you don't agree with.
Yeah.
We want to hear, well, how did you try this? Or, this didn't really work for me. That's okay.
Yeah.
We are very much open to hearing what you like, what you don't like. How can we change things? How can we improve them? That's all part of the growth mindset, is getting that constructive criticism and feedback. However, keyword is constructive. Keep it respectful, keep it pleasant. We're happy to interact with everybody who is maybe sharing that brain cell with Stephanie and I, So if you keep it kind, we're happy to engage with you. We are happy to take your questions and your considerations and go back and forth with you.
Well, you want to touch on it? You want to let's touch on it.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, we're not going to shove it down your throats, but we're not going to hide who we are either.
No, we're not.
I am very much a believer and follower of Big Man, who I refer to him as Big Man, but I am a Christian, very much involved in my life. It's the reason why we're here. We want to share the joy and the love, share how he's changed my life and how beneficial and blessed we are and how happy that we are to be here and hopefully impacting somebody out there.
And I'm new to the following. I am somebody who was raised in the church, a lot of church hurt going on, and that's something that I am currently healing from and finding and discovering on my own journey, meeting Big Man. And he bulldozed his way into my life, as I have heard that he likes to do from time to time, and that's completely fine. When he was ready and he knew that my heart was ready, he said, ding dong, and here he is, in the morning, like Holly said, being intentional with my time with him, at night thanking him for, gosh bless, the many, many, many blessings. I think if we all took a little bit more time, just to sit down and really think about it, just like Holly mentioned earlier, the beauty in the mundane, the beauty in those mediocre days. We live in a world that it's very easy to go straight to the negative and the things that I don't have, and the things that I haven't been able to attain because of this roadblock, or something along those lines. We all have different unique stories, perspectives, and paths to how we've ended up where we are. But to say that I ended up here just on my own doing, I'm slowly and surely realizing that I had a hand in it for sure, but the big guy upstairs has been tugging me along like, you stubborn child. I feel like a kid on a leash at Disney World. Like, I just keep trying to run back to Small World, and he's like, dude, if I have to ride this ride with you one more time, I'm gonna freak out. No, not really. He just
also, if that's the ride that you're running towards is a Small World, out of all of the rides at Disney, you choose a Small World?
I don't know. No, I saw an Instagram about it last night. I'll tell you exactly where the thought came from. I saw a post about it last night that says to any of our Disney fans out there, because I am a fan of Disney, not like crazy fan of Disney, but
if you aren't, I need to know the reasoning why. I do.
Please share.
It's hard because I love it so much, so please explain what happened to you.
But it said something along the lines of, like, if you're really hot and like just like need a break, go get on It's a Small World. The lines are always very short. It's a nice long ride in the air conditioning.
Going back, and I'm touching on this because I had some thoughts about your just everything that you said about your relationship with Big Man. I have a few thoughts, so I'm just gonna put down my coffee.
Ooh, she's setting the coffee down. All right.
Here we go. You said he bulldozed into your life when he was ready. And I just want to comment on that real quick. Take it back. I think his presence is just so big and just so impactful, and he's been ready. Like, it's not when he was ready, it was when you were ready. And he didn't bulldoze. He's been a constant large presence, and as soon as you let that wall down, it felt like a bulldoze because it just came flooding in. So it was once you were ready.
She's right.
He was there.
Oh, she's right. Oh, she is. No, you know what, Holly, you are absolutely right. And that is something that I've been reading and hearing over and over, is that he's always there. And he's just the patient father sitting on the park bench, waiting for you to get your zoomies out, to get whatever you need out,
Quit zigzagging.
I'm a zigzagger, and we will come back to that. But yes, I mean, it's true. And when they talk about being on fire for the Lord and being on fire for all of the word and all of the worship and everything, I mean, on fire. Like, it's just crazy. This is my Nike Just Do It hat. Okay. And I found the hat back to school shopping with my kids, and I didn't really think much of it. But this was right around the time that I started getting back in the gym, for the first time in my life, not to be skinny, not to fit aesthetic, but to be strong. The first time that I had ever stepped into the gym with that mindset, it was the time that Holly and I decided that we were going to put down alcohol. And that's already told Holly, I think will be my favorite episode of this first season that we're doing together. Game changer. And that's all.
Talk about a bad habit we got rid of. That one was
wow. Yeah, that's I've got
what
lots
180.
Lots to share on that one for sure.
Yeah.
And it was the time that I can't say the Big Man came in right at that time, but it was definitely something that I just started to notice a lot of changes in my life. And I noticed that a lot of the changes were happening when the Just Do It hat was on my head. And call it a placebo, call it what you will. When I put the hat on, I just do it. And when I don't feel like doing it, when I am angry at having to do it, when I would rather be just doing anything else, so I think that it just really has started to help me change the way that I think about things that I've never thought about before in my life. And when it comes to myself, which is hard, because as Holly said, we are twos, and that is, I am, Taylor Swift says it, a pathological people pleaser. I mean, I have been my entire life. I am slowly starting to realize that, number one, person, being, spirit, whatever, however you want to think about it, that I need to be focusing on pleasing is my Heavenly Father, because He will provide and He will help my heart and my mind when I feel weak. He is strong. It is true. I give it to Him so that way I don't have to carry it. And it also helps me in all of the other things that I'm working on. Just don't pick up the bottle of tequila. Just don't have an overreaction because a kid is being a kid. Just don't, get upset or peeved with my hubs because he bought the wrong creamer for my coffee. He hasn't even ever done that. I couldn't even think of something because
he's great.
Because OG is a perfect baby angel, dadgummit.
I know.
So Holly and I have also agreed that we will not be revealing husbands' names on the pod until they decide that they may be ready. So I am married to OG. OG, and Halls is...
I'm married to M.
That's it. Those are our guys.
And they will be on the podcast at some point. Mark my words. They're very quiet and not as necessarily into the idea of speaking to a bunch of strangers,
Yeah.
but they will be on the podcast.
Yes, I think that, it's funny how you can be same language, different font with your best friend, and sometimes you can be same language, different font with your husband, because
Absolutely.
OG is about as polar opposite from me as you could be, but
Oh, yeah.
it is something that is the key to our marriage, the key to our relationship, because it
They
is,
ground us.
yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. If I can't do it, he can. If he can't do it, I can, and that's just, and it's the beauty of it, and so it's not just Holly and I, it's Holly and, her relationships, me and my relationships, and the relationships that we're going to build with you guys, you don't, like Holly said, you don't have to agree with everything that we say. That's not our goal and not our intention. But if you get something, even just something, it's a win.
That's the victory. That's the victory behind it. If we reach one stinking person,
Yep.
if we can change just even how they're viewing that specific day. It doesn't have to be a huge mindset shift, but just that one day, if we can make them laugh or maybe get them thinking in a different way or starting to ask questions of why am I pushing to do this?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be us. Like, again, it would be Big Man through us to reach them.
Amen.
That would be incredible. That it gives purpose to some of the negative experiences that we have gone through, to be able to share how we went through them, how we got through them. It's mind-boggling.
Oh, I am so glad you said that. I am so glad you said that. What a beautiful way to put that, because that is so true. We spend so much time, at least myself, and maybe you out there, you might be able to relate, so much time. Why? Why did this happen? Why did this have to happen this way? Looking backwards, when there's so much unknown and good forwards, that really just want to tell you, number one, it's going to be okay. Number two, you don't have to go through the hard stuff alone. And number three, like, maybe it's time to stop spending so much time looking back. And I think that that's something that you and I have both embraced over the past 2 years, and continue trying to work on it. Every day will not be a win in that respect. There's plenty of things that we will talk about on this pod from the past that got us to right here. But it's all just a teaching moment. It's all just a learning experience. And it's your story. It's our stories. We get to write them however the heck that we want,
Right. And I think once you get to that point of like realizing you can kind of see the why, or you can figure out or just at least finding some purpose behind it of, this is what I got from it. It sucks to go through. I still might not necessarily understand the why.
Yeah.
But this is what I can do to use that to not necessarily even figure it out myself, but like maybe I can help someone else that's going through it, or maybe I can apply it to something else, or maybe that one terrible experience led me to make a decision that it has changed your life.
Yeah.
It's just, you can find beauty in the mess, and it's just, it's crazy.
She's feeling poetic this morning, y'all. Do you hear her?
Disgusting. So disgusting. But it's so true. It's just, if you focus on the negativity of it, it's like, where are you gonna go from there? What are you gonna get from that? And it's just,
that's it. I'm not gonna lie, there's been times where I've checked my train of thoughts when I'm really embracing the joy, when I'm really digging deep to put a thought out of my mind and redirect it, where I'm like, oh my God, this is cheesy, dude, or something along those lines. I've thought it to myself, that it's going to be, and it's going to feel weird, and it's going to feel awkward. I mean, I look at myself in the mirror every morning now, and I tell myself I love you,
I forgot you did that.
I mean, it's weird and it's awkward. At least it was for the first 2 weeks. And now I can look at myself as a 33-year-old woman who has had body image issues and dogged on myself not my entire life. I mean, I hope that I wasn't a 6-year-old out here like, oh, these aren't a size 4 pants. But from the time that my consciousness kind of just like kicked in, you know what I mean? Like, I've been historically really mean to myself. It's just a part of the journey that got me here. But I can look at myself in the mirror and tell myself that I love you now. Who are you? You know what
It's
I
so
mean?
uncomfortable getting out of
It is.
those mindsets and the processes that society puts on us, because you
Yes.
could have been thinking those things as a 6-year-old because society says we need to be looking a certain way, we need to be acting a certain way.
Yep.
And this is going to be a whole other podcast, so I'm not going to get into it too much. But it's very uncomfortable stepping out of the norm and
Yeah.
being different than what society says you should be.
No, absolutely.
But there's so much freaking joy behind that. Oh my gosh, there
freedom.
is so much to gain from it.
Yeah.
It's just, I hope you guys can find that too. I hope you stick around.
Yeah.
I hope you've learned a little bit about us. We do kind of go off on rants and get distracted. We have squirrel brains. Yes, exactly. So but we are here. We want to talk about what you guys want to hear and you want us to talk about. We want to help. If you have an idea or a habit or something that you find productive, tell us. We want to try it out with you. We want to be those accountability partners with you, because we found things that have worked, but we still have so much room for growth and things that aren't working. And we want to also just have fun with you guys. We're going to be talking about like holiday traditions. And I am not a big holiday tradition person. For someone who loves the holidays as much as I do, I want to be someone who's like, oh, I bake, I have a hot cocoa bar. I really want to be somebody who just has all these homey things. And I'm going to try to do that with you guys. You know, like if you find that is what brings you joy, like let me try it out. I'm going to try it with you. It might not go well, but you will be here for the ride. And
that's it.
I want to build this community with you guys of a safe place to talk about anything and everything, to share your experiences if you feel inclined to, or to just hear from others or from just us and maybe learn something along the way. Yeah. But
absolutely,
to kind of tie it all together of all the gratitude and everything that we focus on, we will be ending every episode with a "What are we loving right now?" segment. So, Steph, what are we loving right now?
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a really fun segment at the end of each episode. And so 2 things that I wrote down for this week. What are we loving right now? Because I'm going to speak to the cheesiness of my heart. And I believe that we should be telling our people that we're thankful for them, that we love them, and just letting them know how much they mean to us. Number 1, what I'm loving right now. I am recording episode 1 of our podcast with my best friend who has helped me completely 180 my life in a way that I don't know I'll ever be able to explain to her. But thank you, Holly, my co-host, bestie for the resty. Got nothing but love for ya. And that's that. Number 2, much more realistic, in terms of something that you can put into practice right now. Greek yogurt, non-fat, no flavor Greek yogurt, granola, any granola of your choosing. Peanut butter in the microwave, 30 seconds, melt it down, layer it. Yogurt, granola, melted peanut butter, 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. For anybody out there who's looking for that late night sweet treat, I am telling you, I'm like on 2 weeks now of this same dessert every night before bed. It is ridiculous, but it is delicious. It gives me a little bit of protein because, ladies, we need our protein. And it's just yummy, delicious, wonderful, healthy sweet treat at night. And those are my 2. What are we loving right now?
Eating chocolate covered pretzels.
There's nothing wrong with that either. Nothing
Literally,
wrong.
he brought the bag in the other night and was like, you know that you ate 95% of this bag when you first opened it, right? Mind your business. But oh my gosh, that was beautiful. Those were both, they were productive, they were sweet, and now I feel like crap for what I'm about to say for my what are we loving right now.
Same language, different font. Go.
Yours was so sentimental, and I put that we're rewatching the Harry Potter series for Christmas. We rewatch, so every year, my husband and I, we end the year, we start it in November, the first weekend of November, we watch the Harry Potter movies until we finish them, and then we end the year with the Lord of the Rings movies because those are his favorite. So I'm really digging that we're in the midst of the Harry Potter rewatch. And my second thing is that Outlander starts next week, and I'm really excited about it. And yours is so sentimental.
That's enough.
So excited.
Jamie and Claire. Yes.
It's the last season. I'm really excited. That is what is like pushing me through this next week.
Getting to Outlander. No,
but I'm
feel
really
that.
Also very thankful for doing this podcast with you, Stephanie.
Oh, if this is not the most perfect way to tie up the end of episode 1, our pilot episode, holy guacamole, Holly, thank you to every single person, even if it's just one of you out there listening. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for taking time out of your day to listen to two girlies who sometimes have an idea of what we're talking about, sometimes just yap until we go to sleep at night. Just thank you. You know, we're so excited for what we have prepared for you guys over the course of, the first season. Please, if you've got anything, you want to chat with us, you've just got an idea, something that you'd like to hear us talk about, or questions or anything, like Holly said, community. I mean, that's the big takeaway here, is that it's not just Holly and I, we want to build this community here on the pod.
No, we want to hear from you guys. Absolutely. So even if you're on the fence on, should I reach out? Will they actually see it? Will they respond? Just listen to Stephanie's hat. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
That's it. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks for our second episode. Thanks, guys.
When we were doing some research and looking up how many fonts there were, the answer that we found were there are millions of fonts in the world, and new ones are constantly being developed. So if you happen to be one of those millions out there that are speaking our language and are still developing, just like we are, then stick with us.
We want to thank you guys for spending your time with us today, and we'll talk to you on the next episode of Same Language, Different Font. Love you, listeners.